Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to so sad to say, our last show for the Wrongful Conviction Day virtual event series. We have had such an amazing time. All of our guests, we started out with Anthony Graves, we had Anna Vasquez, we had Maria Shepard, we had last week Christopher Scott, and tonight we wanted to end it with a bang. We're going to be talking to our guest, Tracie Brown. And before I bring her on with her story, I just would like to give a big shout out to the International Wrongful Conviction Day Committee that I have been humbly grateful to be a part of. And y'all probably know my name. My name is Daphne Jack, but I am a member again of the International Wrongful Conviction Day Committee. And I would like to welcome you to our Wrongful Conviction Day virtual event series. And I am super excited to be a part of this committee. And a big shout out again to my family in Canada and whoever is in the US. And again, I would like to thank the committee for supporting this event and allowing me to highlight some amazing and courageous people who were wrongfully convicted. Now, since 1989, over 3,220 wrongful convictions have been revealed across the nation. This issue doesn't just impact those who have been wrongfully incarcerated, but those loved ones as the community. And I wanted to also, since this is our last night, I wanted to let you guys know that we're going to be airing this series on my podcast, If Emmett Was Alive Today podcast. And so we're going to be starting, the shows will be coming out on the first Tuesday of every month in the month of November. So if you just want to listen and go and check out my podcast with other guests that I've had on the podcast, you're welcome to do so. And then for us, our social media platform, I'm the founding CEO of Prevention Zone Inc. And you can go on all the social media platforms. Our website is preventionzoneinc.org. And also my podcast, If Emmett Was Alive Today podcast. And so those are all our things that we have out there going. And again, I just appreciate everyone who has been a part of this event. And I'm just super excited. And again, for the opportunity to serve at this capacity. And so hopefully, next year is going to be even greater. We don't know who we might have or what we might do. So just be ready for next year, October 2024. That's the 2nd of October, which is the official Wrongful Conviction Day. And we want to really make that day, I don't know if we can do a national holiday or just a day to recognize the people who have been wrongfully convicted and the ones who are going through the criminal justice system. And so with all of that being said, let me introduce Miss Tracie Brown. She's the state charge at the time. Her last name was Bell with theft and attempted theft in connection with funds she obtained and sought to obtain from Houston Area Urban League. In Reformation, and I hope I'm pronouncing these words right, for youth basketball camp, Bell conducted through her nonprofit organization, the Youth Outlet. The state alleged that Bell submitted falsified documents to the Urban League, claiming to have ran basketball camp that never took place and claiming that fictitious children attended the camp in order to obtain grant funds provided to the Urban League by the American National Red Cross Hurricane Recovery Programs for funding youth activities, programming for children directly affected by the Hurricane Katrina, Rita, and Wilma. And I would like to introduce to you all tonight our guest, Tracie Brown. Tracie, thanks for joining us on tonight. So happy to have you here with us at this time. And so I would like for you to go ahead and start out by telling us, I usually ask everybody, how was your childhood and what was that like? And then your teenage, then the young adult. Why did you become a police officer? That's going to be a kickoff to you sharing your story.
Bottom line was, when it first started off, I just wanted to help people, and I wanted to be a part of the DARE program, and I wanted to work with kids through the police department.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to be a police officer at first. Somebody persuaded me, and
Mm-hmm.
so once I was unfortunately I was attacked by a young man in my apartment complex, and so that just pushed me through the door. And so that was the main that was my forced to go there. But the reason why I thought that I was being going, you know, going into a profession that really uh, wanted to look out for people. And my heart has always been with kids because I had such a tough childhood. I always want to help kids. And I said, well, hey, this could be a great thing to have a DARE program. I can go back into the schools and be a DARE officer. And so that's what I wanted to do.
Okay. Okay. And so as moving forward, the opportunity did present itself for you to become a Houston cop, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. It
So
did.
where did it
Somebody
go from there?
approached me. I'm sorry. Say it again.
I said, where did it go from there?
From there, I was told to go to recruiting, turn in an application. A friend of mine was dating a police officer in recruiting, and he told me how to do it. And I went and got the application, filled it out, turned it in. And the day I got there, they said, "Oh, wait, hold on, you're 14 pounds overweight." So I was like, "Whoa, I work out. I'm an athlete. I'm playing semi-pro basketball." And they was like,
Uh,
"Well, you have to be a certain height and weight."
mhm,
And so then I was like, okay, because the first thing you do when I became a cop is you get on the scale walking in the door. And
mhm.
so I took my shoes off, got on the scale, and they told me that was the thing. And so once I was like, okay, she said, well, based on this, you have to wait a year before you can reapply. So as I was getting my shoes on and getting ready to walk out the door, the guy who I knew,
Mhm.
he was coming out the back and said, "Where's she going?" And so the female officer told him, "Hey, I told her she didn't do the weight requirement or whatever." And he told her, he said, "Hold on, Tracy, have a seat." And he told her to come to the back. Whatever he said to her, she came back out and she said, "Hey, I talked to so and so, and he said that you lift weights and you play basketball." I was like, "Yeah." He said, "So what we're gonna do is continue to do a skin fold test." And so basically, that's what I did. I continued with the application process. I
Mhm.
left there and went and got the skin fold test. But what I did was I left on a Friday and she told me to come back the next Friday. And when I came back the next Friday, I had lost 14 pounds. And
So
she was
let
like,
me
"What?"
interrupt you. What type of test you said you had to do? What is it
A
called?
skin fold. A skin fold. It's where
Explain that.
they take yeah, it's where they take this object and put on your muscles and see how much body fat you have. And
Mm.
so if your body fat is under the whatever they say it needs to be, then
Mhm.
you're good. So it was a
Okay.
body fat. So I was muscle. I wasn't fat. I was muscle because I
Muscle.
lift
Oh,
weights.
okay.
Yeah. So it was a skin
That's
fold test I
interesting.
had. It's called a skin fold test. That's the name I remember it being back in the
Skin
day.
fold test. Okay, that's in. I
Hmm.
recall because I was trying to be a police officer myself, and I needed to lose 100 pounds, and so I was like, okay, all
Hmm.
right. And instead, I wound
Yeah.
up having another baby. So, but anyway, that goes back
Well,
to here. Yeah, but finish with your story, Tracy. Don't mind me.
oh, that's good. Yeah. So once I returned back the next Friday, I had lost
Uh-huh.
14 pounds. And I walked
Okay.
in the door. She was like, "What did you do?" And I said, "Girl, look, let's go ahead and get this thing over with so I can get some
Right.
Popeyes chicken." And so I had starved myself. I had been to the gym 2 times a day. I had on a
Uh-huh.
sweatsuit. I was taking laxatives. I was doing whatever I could to make
Yeah.
sure that it went through. And so when I got there, she was like, "You didn't have to do that. Your skin fold test shows that your body fat is, you have but I had like 12% body fat, something like it was great." So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, did
Mm-hmm.
that, went through the background test and all that stuff. And it took me a year to get in because I had some credit cards when I was in college. And so I hadn't paid on them. So they said, "Hey, you got to start paying on these 3 credit cards you have."
Mm-hmm.
So I called
Yep.
the people, made arrangements, start paying every month. And
Mm-hmm.
then I did everything they asked me to do. So they started the background procedure. Went to
Okay.
my hometown in Memphis. They went to all the places I ever worked. If you ever lived anywhere, I'm talking about one day, you better tell them because they're gonna
Yeah.
find out. And
Mm-hmm.
so they went to every place I'd ever lived. When they went
Uh-huh.
to Memphis, my mom was like, "No." I do not want to be a police officer. And so I
Wow.
was like, Mama, please, I'm trying to help the family. Mama, I'm trying to, make sure. She's like, Trace, I'm just not feeling it.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then my mom had trouble with the law back in the day too. And so
Mm-hmm.
what they told me was, that normally they don't pick people that have had family members that have been in jail. And they said the reason why I was able to keep going forward was because they were in Tennessee and I was in Texas. And
Gotcha.
so,
Okay.
yeah. So,
Okay.
so finally they called me on a Monday and said, how, congratulations, you be in the next class starting the following Monday. Then I get a call on Thursday from another recruiter saying, did somebody call you and tell you you starting class on Monday? I was like, yeah, yeah. Well, I think they gave you that you got the wrong information, and that we're gonna look into that. I said, well, sir, I've quit my job. I because I've already gave my notice on my job.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know who called you. I said it was a female officer that called me, and he knew somebody. He knew somebody that called. Why'd you call me?
Right.
So anyway, it was from the jump. It was something funny going on right there. And
Mm-hmm.
so then he called me back Friday morning and said, well, you go ahead and start Monday because since you already quit your job and stuff, and so we're gonna go ahead and let you go through.
Mm. Okay.
So, yeah. So I
Mm-hmm.
started that on that Monday, and I
Mm-hmm.
was scared as I don't know what. I showed up. I
Really?
was just so nervous
Why were
because
you
everything is
scared?
so.
Why were you scared?
Well, because I'm literally going to work to be a police officer. I mean,
Right.
like I got to shoot a gun. I've never shot a gun.
Oh wow.
I've been hearing all these stories and things,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Memphis. I've never done anything like that. I've just been a person, just, I'm just a person work hard. I was an athlete. I was an All-American basketball player, and I just, that was something just wow. Like I
Mm-hmm.
rode up, I was just shaking, and this one girl was on her bike. She was riding on her motorcycle. She was in the class before me, and she's like, yeah, just come on, just you'll be okay. Thank God for her because she made me feel a little bit better. But I was real nervous,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so yeah, I got there in the class, and I was in class 163, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like probably about 15 blacks in that class,
Okay.
a handful of Hispanic, about 3 Asians, and the rest,
Mm-hmm.
Caucasian.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was in the police academy, and it was one of those things where you see things, and you have an issue with it. You hear
Okay.
things and you have an issue with it. And I've never just been the type of person just to sweep things under the rug or just
Mm-hmm.
act like I just,
In
if
other
it's wrong,
words,
it's wrong.
a person of integrity.
Yeah,
Person of
yeah,
integrity. So how long
yeah.
was the police academy?
6 months.
6 months. So
Hmm.
going in and out, doing the whatever for 6 months. How was that as you was moving forward? Because I'm sure those 6 months seemed like years, but the 6 months probably
Yeah, it
came
was
fast.
you had to, yeah. But no, it
Mhm.
didn't, because the thing about it, they tell you is to shut off everything that you got going on.
Mhm.
And relationships have to take a back seat.
Backseat, yeah.
You can't work any other job. You can't have nothing else going on but coming to that place,
Right.
getting your assignments, showing up the
Mhm.
next day, being on time, ready to go. And for six
Yeah.
months, you had to be totally disciplined. You had to run. You had to, you had to study things. We had to study, and you just had to be on top of your game every day. And so
Right.
you have to be on time. You can't be late. You gotta, it was gruesome. 6 months of being just disciplined to be
Right.
focused.
Right.
And so like I said, I had to cut out a lot of things. I was playing semi-pro basketball before that. I had to cut that all out. That was a
Wow.
wrap on all of that. And so and like I say, just every day trying to stay focused on what was being taught, all the
Mhm.
penal codes, all the laws, and just getting ready for tests. It was a lot. It's not
Okay.
easy. It's not
Okay.
easy, being a Houston police officer. I don't know about anybody else, but I know there
Right.
it takes
Right.
work.
So moving forward to you finally finishing everything, you've done the 6 months. Now it's that graduation ceremony. Tell me about that day. What was your feelings?
That's
Did
very
your
interesting.
family and friends come? Tell me about it.
Yeah, my family came. I think you know, that's crazy because let me tell you, because of the trauma I've experienced,
Yes,
I have
yes,
lost a lot of memory,
I
and so
believe you.
y'all forgive me if I don't
No worries.
remember things clearly.
Mm-hmm.
So I do remember friends being there because I saw a photo the other day and some people that were there, and
Mm-hmm.
so I do remember some friends being there. But
Mm-hmm.
as I graduated, I think I told this story before. As I'm walking out of the building, everybody's saying, you know, we all saying, you know, bye, we got our assignments where we got to report. And a police officer that was standing there was named, well, I ain't gonna call her name. Anyway, she was one of the officers that was over our class. She's a black female. She had been on 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm thinking, okay, I'm finna say she cool. We finna shake hands. She said, whew, thank God the black militant is gone. And that was a surprise to me because I know she felt
Come
that way
out.
about me.
What? Another
Yeah, she
sister
said, thank
said that
God.
to you?
Another sister said that to me. And I was like, wow, like I was here speaking on truth, seeing discrimination, hearing racism, hearing ugly things come out of white cadets' mouth, and how, you know, how they looking forward to arresting black people, and how this and that, how the neighborhood, you know, just like we are the prey.
So
And
what year was
so
this, Tracy? What year is this?
this probably was in, I think I graduated the academy in I think I graduated in 99 or 98, somewhere in there. 98 maybe.
Racism
Somewhere in there.
still going on. Can't wait to arrest
Oh,
black people.
wow. Wow. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
wow. Then yeah, that was the thing, you know. And it's like it's like people in the class, they have, it's like you have to have this disconnect from the
Mm-hmm.
community.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the sad part about it, is that the recruiting of these individuals, and it's still happening today. We recruit individuals that don't have a connection to the community, you know,
Wow.
and we make the qualifications so stiff that you can't get in. Like if a person in the neighborhood even thought about being a cop, well, there's already something there that makes sure that you won't get in. And
Mm-hmm.
so they're looking for a certain type of person. And it's also to the point where it's a good old boy system. It is a good old boy. And the reason why it is a good old boy system is because they're family members of family members. So how do you stop a trend when everybody there is continuing this cycle because they're family members? So I have a lady that was sitting behind me. Her husband was a sergeant. The
Mm-hmm.
guy outside of me, his granddad was a captain. You know, we have all these, and one day they asked everybody that has a relative to stand up. And we had a class of 70, and I promise you at least 55 people stood up.
Wow.
And that's the
Wow.
problem. We continue to keep, so there's nothing's going to change. It's the same
Mm-hmm.
mentality is coming into your neighborhood. And so
Mm-hmm.
we're going to get the same results. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to have police shooting. We're going to have unarmed black men being shot.
Mm-hmm.
People, those cadets were
Okay.
scared.
Yeah.
And then they asked me one day, they was like, hey, aren't you scared to go straight? I said, no, I'm scared of y'all. I'm scared. You're the one, the legalized gun. I'm scared of you.
Right.
And so
Right.
that's just how real I was when I was there. Why would I be scared of them?
Right.
You're the fool. Like, you
Right.
know, and so
Right.
these are things that I would address, you know, like I tell people to start a time when we're watching film and people being assaulted, and we're
Mm-hmm.
watching films to learn people being sexual assaulted, or either, you know, somebody's laughing in there. They laughing like it's literally funny. And I still, I say, this is funny. And, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I was pissed. And so I got up and walked out the class. And
Wow.
so I was brought downstairs to go see a supervisor, you know, and telling me that you can't be doing that. Or, you know,
Mm-hmm.
one more outburst or walkout, we're going to have to put you out of the academy, you know.
Okay.
So I was a head case. They considered me a head case, but I
Okay.
wasn't. I'm a human, and things like that matter. Like, I was in there crying, watching people being robbed and guns put to their head, and, you know, watching an actual woman being raped. That
Mm-hmm.
was a lot to handle, and to
Mm-hmm.
people to sit around and think that's funny,
Mm-hmm.
like that you're a sick individual, and you're
Mm-hmm.
about to be a cop. And
Mm-hmm.
so these are the things they want to keep secret. They want to keep these things secret, and
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't allowing it to happen, so I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
fitting in.
Yeah. So
So
with all of that, you out of the academy, you're now on
I
the
have a
street.
target on my back.
You
Yeah.
already got a target on your back. So how long into you being an official police officer that you really start feeling the pressure of something was really not right? How long had you been a police officer?
I was a probationary officer. I hadn't even become a police officer yet. because
What?
you do 6 months in, yeah, you do 6 months in the police academy, and
Okay.
then you do another 6 months on the, you got to do, is it 6 months, 3 months on the street, and
Uh-huh.
then you have to go through three trainers. You have to go through a day shift trainer, a evening shift trainer, and a night shift trainer, and they all go back and give an evaluation about you. And
Okay.
anytime during that time, they can bring you into the substation and have you fired. So you're still not a cop. Okay.
Okay.
So the reason why I was able to make it through that, because before I walked out the police car, another white officer put me to the side and told me I had a target on my back. And Tracie, I know what you're saying is true, but look, you're gonna have to stop, calm down, because they're waiting on you. They're gonna try to set you up. He gave me a good serious talk, and when I got to the substation, I was so nervous. I thought I was just gonna die that day. So
Mm-hmm.
I just made a decision to keep my mouth closed and just get through it, and just not bring my positions into nothing anymore. And
Okay.
so the white trainer, the first trainer I had was day shift. He loved me. We got along great. Gave me an
Okay.
evening shift trainer. I mean, I seen some different things on the streets. Like they would put me with people, purposely with people, to see how I would act. They'll send me to a scene to see if I was like. They sent me to Harlem Clock one night with a guy, and I was a bunch of white officers out there, and they were choking black boys. They like had their foot on their neck, and a kid got in the back seat. He was like, "Officer, don't you see what they're doing to me?" And I was being tested then to see what I would do. Right. And so I just would give them my number. Like, I can't talk right now. Here, take my number and I'll give you the information. I'm scared because I already know I'm being set up to see what I'm going to do to get me fired. And
Mm-hmm.
so night shift officer, just like me, I get in the car. He said, "You just sit down, shut your mouth up and do these reports." And he, "Get your laptop out." I said, "Okay." So I get my laptop out and trying to, and I knew what it was all about. And so
Mm-hmm.
I just played him cool. And then, because he would always go home. I had heard that he would go home on night shift. Like, he could take your probation officer to his house. I hadn't gone to his house. I'm cool with that. So all of a sudden, I wasn't responding back to him with the stuff. He said, "Hey, we're gonna go to my house and do our reports." Cool. Went to his house that night, did my report. He laid down on the couch and on his couch and went to sleep. Well, he said, "Let me know when you finish. We'll go back to the substation." So I finished. We went in and shift was over with. The next night we went back to his house. And that night he gave me a Coke. He said, "Hey, you want something to drink?" Okay, cool. So I had to play the role to get myself back to the police academy. So what set everything off was that night I was telling y'all about, where that officer showed up on the scene. They sent an officer to my scene, this white female. They knew she was on Prozac. They knew she had excessive force cases already pending on her. They purposely sent her to that scene to disrupt me. And so I'm talking to a lady that is the complainant, and she had just got beat up by her husband. So here she comes walking around me and pushing a lady and somebody that you search the suspect. I said, "That's the complainant. Did you search the suspect?" And so then she started pushing this lady. Then the lady has two kids in her arm, and she pushed the lady back, and then she starts choking this lady. I'm like, "What are you doing?" I'm hollering and screaming at her. "What? I'm just going off." And then the lady just grabs her hand and bite her hand right here. And then she takes her flashlight. She looks at her hand, she takes her flashlight out. And if you ever seen an HPD flashlight, if you ever felt the heaviness of that metal, that is no joke. And she took the flashlight out and she grabbed the lady by her shirt and pulled her down and just started popping in the top of her head as hard as she could. And she said, you bit me." And next thing I knew, the lady had dropped her kids screaming and crying. I'm screaming at the officer, and blood just splatters over everywhere, all over us. And so at this time, and she said, "You better, that's how you do." I just went off. And so then people were coming out the apartment complex, and I mind you, nobody had cell phones back then. Nobody was doing the thing with the cell phone.
Right.
And so then here comes now my trainers running up to me and another officer. "What's happening? What's going on?" I'm like, "You tell me what's going on. You tell me, I'm going off." And so then he just said, "Let's go, let's go, let's go. Take the lady to the car. Take her to the car." And so the lady's bleeding, and a firefighter was living in the complex, and he came down and he tapped me on my shoulder. He said, "I want her badge number. I want her name right now." And I looked back at him and I was so scared because all the officers were looking at me to see what I was going to do. And so
Mm-hmm.
I just kept walking. And so when I saw them turn around, keep walking, I turned to him. I say, "Please write down your name and number. I'll call you. I'll give it to you." He wrote it down and I put it in my police shirt. So we get to the parking lot, and now she trying to talk crazy to me. And I said, "Girl, I will whoop you got the right one." I went off. I said, "Tell y'all what y'all finna do right now. You take this badge." I took my badge, I throw my badge on the ground, "and you take this gun belt. I'm quitting." But I said, "Before I leave though, I'm finna bust show." And baby, my trainer jumped in front of the middle of me. He said, "No, no, no, we're not gonna do that." I said, "I quit." He said, no, I'm gonna take you back to the station. I'm gonna take you back to the station. Pick your stuff up. Pick your stuff up, babe. I'm taking you back to the station. And then she said something else, and I was back over there again finna get it with her. And he was holding me back. He said, we're not doing this out here. And so they put me in the car, and the captain's waiting on you, drove me to the substation. I'm in the substation. I'm huffing and puffing, my shirt all blooded up. And I'm like, I'm finna get her, but she finna get in trouble for this. And I'm looking at the peripheral vision of my eye, and it's like the assistant chief there, a captain, and about 3 or 4 of them over there standing in the corner. They were plotting against me. They were plotting how they're gonna shut me up.
So,
And so
what was
basically,
the indications, Tracie, that you knew that they were plotting against you? How did you know?
because I had been sitting there so long to tell my story, and I'm just sitting there, and then something just came in and said, look back. And I looked back to the side, and I could see them with their hand like this, like trying to figure it out. Like, they was in deep thought. They was all trying to toss. Oh my goodness. And then what registers to me is what the guy said to me leaving the academy. They got to talk, they're coming after you. And so I just said, okay, I better stay cool. So then the captain comes and said, hey, do me a favor, take that shirt off. We're gonna take your shirt. Go ahead and take your shirt off. So he took my shirt that was full of blood. We need to take this to IED. So I said, okay, I'm thinking still everything. And I was like, okay. Then he came back again. He said, hey, just go ahead and go home. And then we're going to come back later. And now this Thanksgiving Day now, because this happened on Thanksgiving Eve. So now we're at Thanksgiving Day. So I go ahead and leave with my white T-shirt on and thinking, you know what I'm saying? And then I get a call back saying, hey, come in and do your report. You got to do the instant write up what happened and this and that and everything. And then we got to go see this, now they're setting everything is going into play now. All right. So then my trainer was so nervous because he's never been in any trouble or anything. So he was like, oh my God, so this may go to the DA. And I'm like, okay, and so I'm not thinking nothing of it, like, okay, this is where it needs to go. And so we go down to do our depositions, and I tell my part. But before we get there, I go to the substation and to pick up my radio and stuff. And I'm going in one of the officers that gives me my radio and my keys for my car. He said, hey, don't you have vacation time? I'm like, yeah, because I got 10 more days before I report to the police academy. And I'm a full police. I finally made it, right? He said, use it. I said, huh? Use it. I said, okay. He said, Sarge waiting on you. So I said, oh, so I got it. Okay, I see what's going on. So I go and I said, Sarge, can I use my van? He said, yes, Tracie, sure. So I get a call the next day telling me, they had a set, they were about to set you up. They set you up for it's gonna make a scene ready, you're gonna get shot. They're gonna kill me, basically. And so now, I report to the grand jury, and the grand jury, I go before the grand jury. I'm not knowing the seriousness of this matter. I'm thinking, okay, this is how this is supposed to go. And so I give it before the grand jury, and they asked me questions. I told the story I told you. I've been telling this story since 1999, since it happened. I ain't nothing changed. And so they did ask me, say, let me ask you something, officer, because you're reporting another police officer. You're turned against this. This could go bad. I said, yeah, I know. And it's like, are you being threatened in any kind of way? Is anything? I said, yes, I am. And I told the grand jury that there was a sergeant. I called his name. I can't call his name right now. No, but I called his name, and I told him that yes, I am. My life has been threatened. I have not been back to work. I'm on vacation right now. And so they did send a message back to that substation, to that sergeant. They did. They said if anything happens, they're coming after him. So basically I didn't report back to the substation. The next time they saw me in the police uniform was me reporting to the police academy to get my final assignment. I made it. And you should have saw the look on those officers' faces when I walked in the door. Because they knew that it always was said, she ain't gonna make it back. We guarantee you. But I made it back, and I became a police officer. And so we had to all wait to cure where we were going to be, where we were going to be working. It was 70 of us. They made me number 70 to call my location, right? Everybody else went to patrol, went to a substation. I was number 70, and they said you're going to report to the jail.
Okay. So you weren't going to be doing any patrolling or anything, or writing traffic tickets or nothing like that. You was going straight to the jail.
The jail officer.
So let's kind of fast forward to, when did the situation, I know it was already happening and things was going on, and you had your suspicion and you was kind of warned by some of the other officers who was probably good for you or in your corner, I could say. But when was that official situation came that would change your life? What was that day?
Well,
Tell
this
me about that day.
that day was in 2006. I was asked to do basketball camps for the Houston area urban league
Okay.
because I was coaching AAU basketball for kids in the inner cities, mostly in the A-Leaf area.
Okay.
And I had boy and girls basketball team, and I was spending all of my money, all my police
Mhm.
income on traveling, uniforms, food, paying rent. I was doing everything that I could to help these kids. And somebody approached me and said, "Hey, you need a nonprofit. Why don't you get a nonprofit?" Like, why? What is that? So the young lady helped me get a nonprofit. I knew nothing about running a nonprofit. I don't nothing. I just said, okay. I'm still that she said you can ask for donations. Okay, cool. Whatever that means. And so I end up getting a nonprofit, continue to work. And then one of the young ladies that played for me, her mom was the vice president for the Houston Area Urban League. And so her mom said, "Hey, we want to offer you a grant, like a lot of other people that are doing sporting things. We're targeting grassroots leadership, grassroots organizations." I'm like, I don't know what the grassroots is. I'm just doing the work. Yeah, that's why we want to involve you in this grant. And so I'm like, oh, cool. So I go down. They told me to meet this lady at the Urban League. I go down there. She explains how it works, how they've been given a grant from the Katrina Fund, or the federal government is giving it to them, and then they are to disperse it how they want to disperse it, to who they want to disperse it to, what nonprofits they want to give it to, and also however the rules they put in place to run the camps. So this is what I was told. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm doing my basketball camp. She said, take this piece of paper, and then whoever goes to your camp, having to sign in, name, address, phone number, just something minor. It was one piece of paper she gave me. I said, that's all I need. The sign. She said, that's all you need. Took that, started going to different places, putting on basketball camps. And so then she called me back in. She said, hey, we got to get rid of this money. We need you to go to Beaumont or wherever you can go, because she said I wouldn't turn in enough paperwork. So now I'm going out. I'm hiring people to help me to get basketball camps. I'm hiring people. Hey, call this gym. Call this gym. Tell them it's free. Tell them it's free. Because and it was free for them. I was getting paid because I was doing the camp for each kid, and did the camps. And my paperwork was. Now she brings me back and say, hey, we need 3 pieces of paper from each one of those kids that you did your camp. I said, wait a minute, what? I said, I don't even know where these kids are. Are you serious? So I hired a person to do my paperwork for me. And this is what the lady said. This hospital, I said, look, I work too many extra jobs. I got too much going on. I don't have time to go back and try to find this stuff, And so she said, Tracy, do the best you can. I say, I don't have zip codes. I don't have none of that. She said, look, tell you what, just put the same zip code for everybody on the paperwork, because they all coming out the same, out of Louisiana or whatever. I don't know. I said, okay, I put the same zip code for everybody. I'm following the rules of the person giving me the money. I'm not doing nothing that people didn't tell me not to do. Right. So I take the paperwork to a lady that was a parent of one of the kids. I said, hey, can you help me do this paperwork? I'll pay you $25 application. I can't do it. I can't fix it. It's a matter of, I've already been paid. It's a matter of fixing the paperwork the way they want it now, after they gave me instructions the way to do it the first time. Now they asked me to come back. They changed the way to do it like 2 times. And okay, so now I'm like, okay, well, there's stuff that I'm gonna do the best I can. I just gave it to her, let her do it. So while this lady's doing the paperwork, she's gotten slick. She's gotten upset at me because she said that I should have been paying her more money. I'm finding this out in trial. That she got mad at me. I didn't even know this until we got to trial. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I hired her husband. They all work for me. When I worked for a certain person, there's a person here in Houston that has a big furniture company, and his wife owns a tennis club. I'm not gonna call their name. You know. Anyway, I was their head security person. Mm-hmm. Anyway, they would do tennis things and stuff like that, and so I would bring the kids in and let all the kids work, and they would do work for, like, pass her brochures out, work up parking lots and things like that. Mm-hmm. And so so can you stop? So I'm sorry. So anyway, they would do all the little odd jobs around the tennis club. I had them doing that. And then I would pay everybody every day because we were making money every day, and then we were using the money to go on our trips, pay for uniforms, and do everything. And
Mhm.
so one of the ladies who I'm talking about, her husband, one day I rode around to pick up his money for the parking lot. He says to me, I need a woman like you. You the kind of woman I need. I said to him, if you ever make that statement to me again, I'm going to tell Vanessa, don't you ever come at me like that again.
Well, you call a
So
woman
that statement,
anyway.
mhm, that statement right there,
Mhm.
that situation right there changed my whole life. He goes home and Vanessa is doing my paperwork. He told her, I'm learning this in trial. He told her that you do more for he told her you doing too much for Tracie. You don't do nothing for this family. You don't work at our business. You're not doing anything for me at the office. You're doing everything for Tracie. And then she said to him, Tracie does more for this family than you do.
Ooh.
He said, I will show you and Tracie. That right there cost me everything. He went to IAD, he called IAD first and told him I was stealing. I had his wife putting false names on the application.
Who is
And they
IAD?
told him Internal Affairs Division.
Okay. Okay.
He
All
calls
right.
Internal Affairs Division.
Mhm.
And they tell him, well, look, we need you to come down here. And so the sergeant who he dealt with was a sergeant that I had over at Fondren when all the stuff went down. And so he and I did not get along. And so he knew what I had turned that officer in. Matter of fact, she got 7 years probation for beating that lady up.
Mm.
Anyway, so he was one of those people that was there at the time that my life was being threatened with. And so he took the case, told him to come in and took the case. And they got the right DA, Therese, this woman now, who Kim Ogg fired as soon as she got the job, fired her because she was committing prosecutorial misconduct.
Wow.
And so, yeah, that's one of the first ones. One of the 30 that she fired when she first got in the office.
Mhm.
And so those two got together, had him to come down there, and he told the story, and it just blew up from there. And the next
So,
thing I know, yeah,
mhm. Go ahead.
I'm
So the
being
next
called out.
thing, uh-huh.
Next thing I know, I'm getting a letter in the mail saying that you are the target of a theft, and if you want to come down here and talk about it, explain your side of the story. I was in uniform the day it was in my mailbox. I'm like, I'll go down there right now. So I called out on the job. So I got to go down to the DA's office. And wrong, should have never done that. Should have went and called should have called the union. But I'm thinking, hey, I ain't done nothing. I already know somebody lying on me. I'm finna go down there. So
Yeah.
everybody listen to this. Don't ever do like I did. Go get your attorney.
Right. Right.
Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. So that was
Mhm.
the one big mistake that I made, because I went straight down there thinking I'm gonna be able to talk to these people and let them know that this dude is pissed with me and blah blah blah. They come in the room. I didn't know I was being recorded. Start asking me about my basketball camps. And I'm starting trying to pull up the names of people who I did the camps for. I'm trying to give them the information that they need.
Mhm.
And then the DA starts going off on me. And I was like, what is this all about? Like, you know this guy, Reginald Johnson? I say, who? I said, I don't know Reginald Johnson. And I knew a Reginald Johnson, but he was an ex-police officer who got murdered a few years before. So I'm like, can't be that Reginald Johnson. And I'm like, I don't know who Reginald Johnson, the boxer, you don't know him? I said, no, ma'am, I don't know him. Well, my paperwork, when they went to I found out that at that time they had already gone to the Urban League and seized all paperwork. They went to the basement. The DA's office went to the basement and put everybody's paperwork together. They took my paperwork and put it inside Reginald Johnson paperwork. Somebody I've never met a day in my life. To this day, I've never met him a day in my life. Call him on the phone if you know him. Ask him, do you know me, and call into the show. We don't know each other. Anyway, this just when she started going off me about a Reginald Johnson. I said, I'm down for basketball camps. I'm down for helping kids. And then I said to her, somebody had to help my black A. And so that statement right there got me 16 years and 15 years for theft and 16 years for attempted theft when I went to trial. But going back to that, after I left there, I didn't know I was being recorded. I went off on her, and when I walked out the door, she said, "CC, you could have helped us, but since you didn't want to help, we're gonna show you. We're gonna show." I said, "Well, I tell you what, you do what you have to do, and I'm gonna do what I have to do." I said, "Because you're not gonna have me here lying on myself and lying on anybody." So I didn't know the seriousness of what I had gotten into. I didn't even know it was serious like that. I didn't know I was about to be indicted. I didn't even understand that.
Right.
And when I got to the station, they said, "Hey, you've been relieved of duty." And then they told me to go turn my badge and my gun in. I had been relieved of duty that fast. I didn't know what was going down that fast. And then
So once you was relieved from duty, what what happened after that? Was the trial? So were you arrested?
No, I wasn't arrested at that time. I had to go get an attorney because I went to the union. I went to the police union because I was part of the police union,
Okay.
thinking, okay, this is where everybody say you need to go. That's why I pay you every month. Go to the police union. They get me an attorney. Come to find out, this attorney is Paula Goodhart, which is supposed. I think she's the judge down there now. No, she's corrupt. Anyway, they get Paula Goodhart. Come to
Mm-hmm.
find out, her and Therese, the lady who's the DA that's prosecuting, they're best friends. Paula just left the DA's office like a week ago, and now she becomes a defense attorney, and they give her me as for me to defend me, and this is her best friend. So I go see Paula, not knowing the magnitude of this mess, and she going off on me, talking about what they got on me, what they said, what they said. You're not listening to me. I'm telling you, even if is the thing about it, even if I was wrong, you won't be defending me. But you telling me about what they said. And so so she was like, well, let's start over. And so me and her just banged head every time. And I said, well, I have all my evidence. I got t-shirts, I got receipts for things that I bought. Or bring all that down here. Bring it to me, blah, blah, blah. So I bring this lady all my evidence. At the end of bringing it down there, well, I'm gonna look through this and we're gonna talk to Therese and this and that. And I start calling the other office. They said, you need to get rid of her. They said, this is a setup. That is no way in the world you're supposed to have this lady. They should have gave you her as an attorney. So I called somebody. They say, look, you need everybody I talked to say this is a setup. Get somebody else. I fired her. She was hot. She was mad at me. She said, anybody could have represented you would have been me. And I was the best one for the case. Blah, blah. I said, no, you're not. You're her best friend. And you're not listening to anything. And I said, I'm coming and I need you to send my stuff to my new attorney. To this day, we've never got none of my evidence. Went to trial with none of that evidence. She never returned anything. She didn't return my t-shirts. I brought her t-shirts to my camp. I brought her all my receipts to buy my t-shirts. She never returned it to my attorneys.
So you
never got it. Don't know where it is today.
All the proof that you had to show your innocence. She never
gave it to us. They didn't get it. My attorneys never got it from her to this day.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So moving forward. So after you fired her, when is the trial set? When do you go to trial?
We went to trials in 2010.
Okay.
In 2010. So now we're trying to put together a case to try to explain this mess. Mm-hmm. Because it was hard to explain it because the vice president had been threatened with jail. The lady who gave me the instructions had been threatened with jail if she testified for me. Everybody that I had to talk, was supposed to be, they flipped on me like they're doing Donald Trump right now. Everybody was trying to stay their own butt. Yeah. So I'm the Donald Trump, the black Donald Trump. So anyway, everybody's trying to everybody, and I know what it said. And again, I'm a novice to this stuff. I didn't know how this stuff goes. Today, I would have handled things different. But back then, I just thought if you tell the truth, you win. And I didn't know that the corruption. I never seen such evilness in my life, and I didn't know this is the way they get people sentenced. I didn't understand that, and so as I'm going through these just watching people call me and cry on the phone. I'm sorry, Tracie, I can't help you. I'm sorry. They said they're gonna they put up my old record and they're gonna put some charge on me. I'm like, what? You ain't done nothing, Tracie. I'm sorry. Another call. I got kids I got to take care of. I'm sorry. And then one girl just said, she said, look, I'm just gonna be honest, they telling us what to say and they type it in and we got to sign it. The DA's office. Yeah.
Wow.
Everybody. Yeah. And then the lady the mom who was doing my paperwork, she was putting extra names in my paper to get paid more money. She admitted to it on stand. And she said, they don't want me. They want Tracie. They didn't want me. So she admitted to it.
Wow. So now that the trial is going on, how many days did the trial last?
11 days for theft and attempted theft. 11 days. They brought in, they did that on purpose. And that's what I write about. I wrote about a blog I wrote called Prosecutorial Misconduct, SMH. And I wrote it for, if you go on Pure Justice website, you'll see it. Go to their blogs. I wrote it. And it talks about the strategies, the tactics that DAs use in order to get people to plead guilty and the things they do to get juries to wear juries down. and to make a jury say, hey, I don't care if she is innocent, baby, I gotta go home, I'm tired of this stuff. So they know what they're doing. It's all a game, and I'm learning all of this, and that's why I'm talking about it, because you need to know what you're up against. Especially right now, and it's an election year, and people need cases, and saying, so if you got to name anything, it's not a good time to be getting in any kind of shenanigans, because they gonna build up something on you. So yeah, so that 10 to 11 days, they wore the jury out. I even heard the jurors in the hallway talking about, one lady was talking about she had a vacation and she wasn't missing her vacation. Yeah. And as I'm sitting out in the hallway, I'm listening, talking to another black lady. She's in another courtroom. She's a jury, and she said, I was telling about my situation. She said, I'm on the jury over here. She said, we got a lady over there drinking mouthwash because she's an alcoholic, and she said they don't care, they're gonna find this guy guilty because she gotta get her drink on. So it's, man, it's just an ugly situation down there. And so she kept me down there, like, and so then I finally got one witness that I could get to show up. He's my private investigator, who had taken everybody's statement before the DA got to him and make him change his statement. He got everybody's statement on recording. He's on his way on the 10th day of trial. The new DA, she says, I'm closing my case out. And that was that 10th day. And so that morning. So now we bring in this guy. He's supposed to be on his way down there to bring all the evidence. An hour go by, 2 hours go by. And the judge called. He said, Miss Tracie, do you know where? I said, no, I don't know where he is. My attorney said he's on the way. So he said, can you go find your attorney and see what's going on? I go out in the hallway. My attorney's out there. These two knuckleheads. Anyway, the attorney tells me, she said, well, Tracie, yeah, she was. They were back then. I don't know, they may be better now, but back then they were horrible. But anyway, she says, Tracie, he got arrested coming into the courthouse. I said, well, what? He got arrested? They said, yeah, he got arrested outside by Mountain Patrol. Mountain Patrol is on a horse. You pull somebody over on a Mountain Patrol for inspection sticker, a 7-year-old inspection sticker ticket? Really? So they arrest him. So we got to go back to court, tell the judge. Okay, now this is crazy, because now nobody went and got him, got the evidence. I'm not knowing what to do. My attorney should know what to do, right? So then he doesn't show up, right? So now the DA opens it back up. She said, I want to open my case back up. I didn't know they could do that. She opens it up back up, and she said, I want to show a video. The video she wants to show is me saying to her, somebody had to help my Black A. So this is what they use to, it's an emotional thing. They play on jurors. So she wants the juror to dislike me. And get me found guilty. And so she showed the tape, and first of all, my attorney, he did object to that. He said, because she didn't know she was being charged. She did say on the tape, I think I need an attorney, and so this shouldn't be shown. So this judge tells her, okay, I tell y'all what, tomorrow you come in with a law saying why we should show it, and then tell my attorney you should come in law showing why I shouldn't show this to the jury. He comes back the next day with the same argument, and he said, you just said that yesterday. He said, so based on that, you don't have an argument, the tape will be shown. They showed that tape in front of the jury, and she put it to the point where I said, you got me down here for helping kids, somebody had to help my Black A. And I did say it. I said I was upset. The juror, I looked at one of the jurors who had been giving me eye contact the whole time, like they wouldn't believe, like this, like you don't have enough. I looked at that juror, and she did this. She said, put her head down. I said, I told he called a recess. I went in the bathroom with my mama. I fell to the ground. I told my mom, I'm going to prison for saying my Black A. And that's how I got convicted, off of a videotape.
So
of something emotional, not theft, not the, you say you prove nothing. And the guy, my private investigator, nobody called a recess. And that's what one of the deputies said in court. He said, why did they just call a recess and bring the guy over here? I said, sir, I don't know. At this time, I don't know how to go. I've never been in trial. I've never gone to court. I'm thinking, I've hired these people to do the job, and he never made it. He didn't come over there. And the jury made a decision. And right before that video, they came back out. And that's when I was found guilty of theft and attempted theft. And then they gave me the harshest, like I'm a first-time offender, never been in trouble a day in my life. And you give me 15 years for a theft and 16 for an attempted theft. 16 for an attempted theft.
Wow.
You got Derek Chauvin execute with his knee George Floyd in front of the world, and he gets 22. Amber Geiger shoots Bolton John, and you get 10 years in an air conditioning unit. Attempted theft from people that I don't, from a guy that I don't even know. That this young man, me and him, have never met each other in our life. Reginald Johnson, never met each other.
Oh
I
my
get
God.
16 years. So
Wow.
you tell me this wasn't a retaliatory act? Tell it to
Mm-hmm.
somebody else, because I'm not trying to hear it. And so the thing about when I get home, I do. And I don't want to skip over everything, but anyway, I did talk to this private investigator after I returned home. I had to find a private investigator to find him. And so he found, he said, how did you get my number? I said, I hired a private investigator because I just want to ask you, sir, why didn't you show up? Why, what happened? He said, you went to prison for that? I said, yes, sir. And he said, why didn't your attorney just call a recess? I said, that's the question. That's what everybody's asking me. And he was
Wow.
he said, all he had to do was come get me. I had all the stuff. He said, they put me on for a 7-year-old inspection sticker.
And arrested him for an inspection sticker.
Yep.
Wow.
On Mount Patrol.
How long? So you got 16 years and then 15 years for one
I got
crime?
15 for theft,
Uh-huh.
and 16. Well, yeah, first they had me in organized crime. Baby,
Oh Lord.
That carried a 99-year sentence.
Oh
Yeah,
Lord. Oh wow.
yeah. Yeah.
So how long did you stay in prison, Tracie? How long did you stay in prison?
I was convicted on September of 2010, and I came home March the 28th, 2014. So that's about 14. Yeah.
Okay, so you are currently on parole right now
Yes, until 2026
till
for
2026.
16 years for an attempted theft.
Yeah. So since you know that you was wrongfully convicted, what are you currently doing trying to exonerate this case? If you could share.
I've talked to attorneys. Everybody said that they see it. Even the day after I got convicted, appeal attorney came to see me,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, "What are you doing back there? What are you doing back there?" And I said, "Lord, I don't know." I was in tears. I was in an orange jumpsuit, and I was just crying my eyes out because all I could think about was my children.
Yeah.
And he said, this is he said, I'm gonna do my best. I can't promise anything. I'm gonna do my best to try to get this brought back. But he already knew concerning the judge that it wasn't gonna be brought back, because he knew that judge was not gonna do it. He was a Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
He just got voted in, and he was trying to show off, right? And so it got denied, like I thought, like they said it would always do. And then I had to go to the next step. So I was just trying to write my own appeal. I was trying to write my own appeal in jail, and I did, and I sent it to my mom, and she found an attorney, and he took it to a judge in downtown Harris County. He told him, "You better leave that case alone. You better give her back her money and leave that case alone." Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So as we speak,
Yeah.
where does everything stand right now?
As we speak, I was hoping that there was a nonprofit organization that said they were going to take it up for me. Restoring Justice. He had a appellate. He had just hired a habeas attorney, and they were supposed to be doing it for free. And I don't know. He said the guy had something happen or whatever. He couldn't get to it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But we were supposed to be talking sometime soon. Hopefully
Yeah.
next month, November, we were supposed to catch back up on it. Everybody I talked to, even talking to Vivian King, she said this was a disjustice. She said that. And everybody I talked to, it's just, right now, Daphne, I just gave it to God, and that's all I can do. Because somebody, I went to see another attorney. He was like, well, you're doing great. You're out, blah, blah, blah. But that's not the issue. This stuff is on my record. This is my reputation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a thief. I just attempt to steal anything. You know what I'm saying? I know who I am.
Yeah.
And so I'm just working every day to keep speaking about it, like this show, and keep putting it out there. And then who knows, maybe one day, Who
Somewhere.
knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
Somewhere down the line, I mean, a lot of people you have on this show, they've already had their cases dismissed. They've already
Mhm.
had the
Yeah.
blah blah blah. What I'm saying,
Exonerated. Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
exonerated. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so
That's why.
only thing I can do is I
Yeah.
even talked to Kim Og. I saw Kim Og at a thing, and
Mm-hmm.
so she was like, she was in awe about it,
Mm-hmm.
But my
Mm-hmm.
thing is that, what are you gonna do? Like, y'all go and overturn cases when it's a bad cop that's arrested people. You go and overturn, but what about when it's a bad DA? You fired that DA for this act, for these type of acts.
Mm-hmm.
So why are their cases not brought back before you? You
Right.
know. So
Right.
I mean, everybody wants me to sweep it under the rug. People want me to let it
No.
go.
No, you're going to continue to fight. But let me ask you this question. So you were away from your children, and how, just briefly tell me, how did this affect your children? Well, first off, how was your mental health initially? And then your poor children who suffered not having their mom around. How did this affect the family?
My mom almost died. Thank God for a friend I had named Von Seal. She came over and she helped my mom because my mom was living with me, and I was, I helped her do everything. So, she was just it was about to call it a day. And so thank God somebody there came around to help my friend Von Seal,
Mm,
Washington, and her sister. And so I was there basically crying every day,
I can
every
imagine.
every until one of the girls in the cell said that she's sick of me crying. And so I was having a lot of mental issues. I literally saw one of my kids walk into the jail cell and I hugged him. And these are the things that I was dealing with, and I still deal with a lot of things right now. But
Mm-hmm.
back then, trying to be strong, trying to hold it together, because the thing that I knew I had to do was make it out of there, because I didn't want my kids to be motherless at
Mm-hmm.
all. I didn't want them not to
Mm-hmm.
have me at all, because I wanted to die. I literally just told God to take me. I can't do this. I'm a person that's trying to help people. I always try to help people, give you my shirt off my back, and this is
Mm-hmm.
what I get, for trying
Mm-hmm.
to be a person that help people.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
my kids were left with their dad. He's passed on since when I came home. He died 2 years later. Their dad,
Oh
he died
wow.
of stomach cancer. Yeah,
Mm.
he remarried, and unfortunately, the person he remarried was very abusive to my daughter. She was verbally and physically abusive. They starved my kids. My daughter right now is really struggling with a lot of mental health issues. She's on medication on and off. She still it's still, we're in a battle right now.
Right.
She had good
Right.
days and bad days. This lady took her through hell while I was gone. My boys, my youngest son, he dealt with it more with video games. He that was his. But now, if you take like today, if you take a video game from him, like he's a PS5 person, if you take that PS5 for him for a day, you'll see another person. He starts to cry. He starts to break down. He's had to go see a therapist. My oldest son is in college in New Jersey, and he's flourishing, but you know, he
He
was a
have
little
his
older when I
day.
left, but yeah, he had his days, but it doesn't affect him like the other two. But my daughter
Right.
mainly has really suffered from me
That
not being there
bad
for
end.
her, and
Mm-hmm.
somebody took advantage of that, and
Mm-hmm.
just she took my daughter through it. And so I'm
Yeah.
praying for her, because I for you to treat a child like that,
Mm-hmm.
and anyway,
Mm-hmm.
but that's where my child is right now. But I am still every day trying to just every day wake up and continue to move forward. I'm like I said, I'm speaking and speaking engagements, continue to try to help other people, and just bring light to this criminal justice system in every way that I
Absolutely.
can, and especially because
Absolutely.
there's a lot of things that the public don't know about and people don't express. And there's a lot of things that are going on in prison that
Mm-hmm.
people don't talk about and that needs to be talked about. And
Right.
and and let me say this, even though I had to walk through that door,
Mm-hmm.
I met some incredible people, some
I'm sure.
wonderful people, some
I'm sure.
loving people,
Yeah.
that changed my life, and they are still my friends today.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to put no damper on that experience, because I don't want them
Right.
to ever think that me meeting them was the worst thing. No, it wasn't. And that's one of the worst things that can happen to you as a person. But even in your worst days, God can give you happiness and people to make you laugh and help you to get through things. And
Yeah.
that's what those women did for me. They helped me
Yeah.
get through it, and they showed me how to get through it, and
Yeah.
and I did it, and they said, we're gonna help you. We're gonna show you how to do this. Don't, just hold on. Don't lose your mind. Your children need you to get back home. I said, I'm not getting back home. I got 16 years. And they said, girl, you ain't gonna be here no 16 years. And they knew how the system worked. I didn't know. And
Right.
so,
So you
but it was crazy.
learned.
Yeah, it's crazy because
Yeah.
when parole came to see me, the first thing he asked me, he said, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Why have you been in here this long? I don't know. I said, I guess God. And he looked around. He said, I'm finna request that you go home. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, okay. So he did his little interview with me at 3 o'clock in the evening on a Friday. On a
Mhm.
Monday morning, I had made parole, and
Oh
I was gone
wow.
home by that Thursday. Yeah, I was gone home by
Wow.
that Thursday.
Wow.
I got the best FI1. That's one that means you the best. And I was going home by Thursday. When it
Yeah.
did go down, it went down quick when I was leaving. But
Mhm.
yeah,
Wow.
I had to go to East Dorm and tell everybody bye. I had to go to all the girls bye and all the guards bye. I had to hug everybody. It was emotional when I left. People were
Mhm.
crying. CDC
Yeah.
guards were crying. I made a lot of good friends, and
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so it wasn't like I left out. It wasn't like I was being threatened or anything like that. I had, when I first got there, of course, somebody tried to say something crazy fly, but again, I'm from Memphis. I'm from the hood. Just don't let the job fool you, because
Right.
yeah. So
Right.
anyway, got that straightened out. But from
Uh,
that point on, what I'm saying, I did what I had to do. I walked where I had to go. They
mhm.
sent me to a Mountain View, which is a maximum security prison. Like, why would you send a theft person over there, first time offender? But that was God, because it's somebody I
Mhm.
had to it's
Yeah.
somebody I had to meet and something I had to do there. And
Mhm.
that was a very good experience. And
Wow.
I got a friend right now that I still visit that's there. She has a
Mhm.
99-year sentence. And like I explained to her, I got now I have a 99-year sentence, because
Mhm.
I'm not gonna leave you until you get out of here. And
Mhm.
she's from India, and she's in prison, and she didn't speak English when she got convicted. She was a sex trafficking victim, and this is where we are. So that's why I say I don't complain anymore. Somebody worse than me, somebody way
Yeah.
worse than me. And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
but this is to let people know this can happen to you. This can happen
Mhm.
to your loved one.
Mhm.
Let the right DA,
Mhm.
let the right time of the year come around, and guess what? You're
Mhm.
in an uphill battle, because
Yeah.
this could have all been, what I'm saying, this could all been turned around, could have been fixed. Because like I
Mhm.
told myself, I get the money back then if you think I stole. The person that wrote the check, I didn't make her. She wrote the check. She said, okay, I'm gonna take your paperwork like that. What do I do? You know. So
Yeah.
how can you steal? And then on top of that, the president of the Urban League got on the stand and told the DA, we never said Trace stole anything from us. I don't even have a complainant. There's nobody even complaining on me. When I got ready to be released, there's nobody even, like, when you get ready to get out on parole, people
Mhm.
have people might call in, so we scared of her. Well, I had the parole guy say his whole desk was filled with letters and petitions of people wanting me home. He said,
Mhm.
a whole community wants you out of here.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
didn't have any protesters. Nobody protested me because I didn't do anything to anybody.
Right. Right.
And,
So,
and for the person who you say I stole from to come in and say, we never said she stole anything. Well, the
wow.
DA said I did.
Yeah.
That's what the DA said.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, we're getting some of the comments from a few people who are chiming in. Tina Bryant is watching, and Nikki, I don't want to say her name wrong, but she said to continue to fight.
Hmm.
And so 2016 is coming,
Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all, Tina.
yeah,
Thank you, Tina and
absolutely.
Nikki. Thank
Yeah.
y'all.
But it's
Yeah.
just, just continue to fight, Tracie. We met each other for a reason. And when you think about it, your pain into purpose. And like I tell people who I meet and come in contact with, my pain was because I needed to meet you. And so that's the
Amen.
reason. We're in
Mm.
this together. And I'm studying, working on my master's in criminal justice, finally. And everything is going well, but just learning more about how the criminal justice system is. And I can relate to some of it because being a retired parole officer, it was still
Hmm.
some things that I needed to know and to read and study things. And one of the solutions that they said that could make a change in this criminal justice system is bringing
Mm-hmm.
together mental health and being able to match that, like, why, what's the purpose, why did this happen, something had to go
Mm-hmm.
on wrong. That's for the people who committed a crime, but then you're dealing with the people who didn't commit the crime and having
Mm-hmm.
to deal with their mental health. You probably didn't have no issues going in. Your kids was probably fine. But at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, going through this situation, that puts you
Yeah.
in the light to have a therapist. And I'm
Yeah.
very strong on therapists. I have one myself. My kids, we believe in, therapy because it helps. It helps. We can pray and we know God can do anything, and God doesn't fail, but yet he allowed man to be that little beacon of hope when it comes to our mental health. And
Mm-hmm.
so you continue with what you're doing for as your mental health, and just hang in there, Tracie. I know that something good is going to come out of this. It just seems, you're here and you're going back and forth. It's going to be somebody that's going to hear this information, and you keep sharing your story, and somebody's going to hear and say, hey, I can help you. And when they say that, they will make it happen. And I'm not trying to
Mm-hmm.
sound like no prophet and all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying,
No, I
you
got that. No, and
know,
and
I
that's the thing.
just hang
I'm
in
to the
there.
point like I that's what I'm doing, and it's
Yes,
like,
yes.
you just keep waking up. That's something I just keep
Mm-hmm.
waking. Like when I was in prison, the girls would say, "Just keep waking up, just
Keep
keep
waking
waking
up.
up," and
Yes,
I just kept waking up. And then the one day
yes.
the answer came that you're going home, and I just
Wow.
I'm just gonna continue that, and
Mm-hmm.
like I
Yeah.
say, I just want people to know that when you're going up against this criminal justice system, man, you got to
Mm-hmm.
be ready.
Absolutely.
I mean, that it's
Absolutely.
serious, you
Absolutely.
know. And,
So moving forward, I appreciate you coming on. I wanted to make sure, because when you were saying, well, I gotta do, I was like, no, we can move this time because I want the world to hear your story. And as I
thank you.
stated early, this will be aired again through my podcast. And if anybody want to see this video again, you can go to YouTube, you can go to Prevention Zone Facebook page and share it however you guys need to do it. And I just feel like whoever is out there listening, an attorney or whoever that's hearing your story, someone is going to be able to reach out and say, I can help, and make sure that they see you through this, because it's crazy. So if anybody want to hear, invite you to come and speak, Tracie, how can we get in touch with you?
I have a nonprofit called From Badge to Bars to Purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And the email is badge2bars@gmail.com.
Okay.
Badge to bars at
Mm-hmm.
Gmail. Badge BADGE 2 bars BARS Gmail. And my phone number is 832
Mm-hmm.
388 0555.
Okay.
832 388 0555. And if I don't answer, if I say text me, please text me, because I am working on I'm in school, back in school, so I'm working on
Yay.
another degree. So
Yeah.
just text me if I say text me, please text, because then you got a lot of crazy people calling. But
Right.
I do want to hear from the people, and I do want to be able to be an encouragement.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to go back into the police academy and really speak to cadets about making decisions, to try to save people lives,
Mm-hmm.
speak on truth when you
Mm-hmm.
see wrongdoing.
Yeah.
My goal really is to eliminate young black people from getting shot by police, because I know
Right.
they're scared. The cadets are scared.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I
Mm-hmm.
also want to explain to police officers what it feels like to go to jail. So if
Yeah.
you want to, say continue these acts, this is what you're gonna go through. And I think they need
Mm-hmm.
to hear that from somebody that's walked through it, and
Right.
maybe that'll change somebody's life or mindset and save somebody's life on the street. I think the story
Absolutely.
needs to be told. I think it needs to be used as an educational purpose. We use other
Absolutely.
things to do, and I think I'm an educational purpose. And
Mm-hmm.
and also, we need to get back into the schools and talk to these kids about this criminal justice system, what they have to look forward to, and how they can be found guilty and they're innocent. How
Mm-hmm.
easily it is to do that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and also I'm starting to write a book, so
Good.
Hopefully I'll be
Good.
getting my book out soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Good. Keep
so
me
these are the
posted.
things. But yeah, I'm at bash 2 bars at Gmail.
Okay.
And my phone number is 832-388-0555. So
Okay. All right. Well, Tracie, I totally appreciate you for being on our show. And this is the last day that we'll be hosting this event. And I hope it helps someone. Hope it has been a lesson learned, for someone to hear your story and say, well, wow, I thought mine was bad, but hers is just as bad. So you just never know. And so again, I appreciate you joining in, and tell your husband, who I had a chance to meet. He's such a nice guy. Y'all are such a beautiful
yeah,
couple. And so
yeah.
he might, okay, tell him hey.
That's
Tell
all
him
I'm
hey.
fussing at.
I was so glad to finally meet him. So that's a beautiful
Yes.
thing. You guys are a beautiful couple, and you definitely have a purpose out there. And so
Man.
but we'll be talking soon. I know how to find you, know how to
Okay.
find me. And
Yeah,
but again, I appreciate you, and tell your husband thank you for allowing you to
I
be a
will.
part of
Thank
this
you,
show.
everybody, for coming in, chiming in. I
Absolutely,
appreciate it. Thank y'all.
absolutely. So hold
Thank you,
on
Miss.
as we get ready to
I
end.
will.
All right, hold on. So there we have it. Tracie Brown's story. She's still on probation, not probation. Let me take that back. And I'm really bad about talking about probation, but she's still on parole. She's still dealing with mental health. She's still trying to find a solution for her case. So if there's anyone who's out there listening and know that they can help, we need some pro bono attorneys to come and help Tracie with this issue, getting her case exonerated. We just need someone out there to help her as she tried to fight her case, and so just continue to fight. And so, but I want to again thank my International Wrongful Conviction Day Committee for allowing me to have this opportunity to share. And I'm just super excited to be a part of that committee, and hopefully so I can stay on and we can get things and do things even bigger and better. And so you can reach me through Prevention Zone Inc. Info at preventionzoneinc.org if you want to email me. And you can go to our website, preventionzoneinc.org, and just know that we're here. We want to have a solution to our criminal justice system. And don't forget to listen out and check out my podcast, If Emmett Was Alive Today podcast. And as most of you, some who know me, know that wrongful conviction is my passion. And so I appreciate you guys joining in, and keep things going. If I don't talk to you, have a happy holidays, because this year is about over. And keep up with us, Prevention Zone Inc. We got some good things going on. And so look to see you again soon. You know how to find me. Bye.